Not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And the topic of the day is the pro-blacks versus the Coons. And I will have to say that the Coons have won. I am not filled with so much pride where I can admit defeat that even I will have to take an L. And I'm going to tell you this right now. The pro-black sector of YouTube has turned into the social media version of hepatitis B. And when I talk about the pro-black sector, I'm not talking about people that are neutral, because there's people that, that are not a coon, which I don't like using that term coon, but I'm going to use it for the sake of the argument. And there's people that are not pro-black, Afrocentric, or whatever. They're mutual. And that's what I'm trying to get at. And then when you're dealing with the, I'm like, it's pointless even making these so-called pro-black videos about enlightenment. If you're not one of the major figures, if you're not a public icon like Tariq Nasheed or Dr. Boyce Watkins and so forth. Now, and Tariq Nasheed is not pro-black. I consider him pro-hustler. He's an opportunist. He used terms like a bed wench or whatever. I'm like, in a lot of ways, has made a mockery out of the whole Afrocentric pro-black movement with that whole melanoid nation. News, Tariq, there are other people besides black people that have melanin in their skin. Yeah, there's people in India. I've come across a lot of non-black people that have more melanin than me. I came across a Mexican that was darker than I was. Well, he was from some sort of Spanish nation because he was speaking Spanish and so forth. So, and that's the thing. So, black people, stop thinking you're special because you got fucking melanin. I'm like, your melanin can't stop a bullet. And one thing I have to respect about white people is that white people are at a biological disadvantage. We can see that. But they overcome their handicap to take over the world. And that's the thing. So we need to stop thinking that white people are stupid and black people are just, it's kind of like these melanated gods. It's a fucking fantasy. So therefore, in a lot of ways, a lot of the pro-blacks and Afrocentrics are in some sort of the land of make-believe. You know what I'm saying? And I like to deal with stuff that is real, that can be backed up by science and so forth. And but yeah, that's what I want to say. But as far as this corner of YouTube, these people, these pro-black, so-called pro-blacks, that wanted to create this counter current against the bootlickers and yes bosses. They want to protect black women and so forth. They want to be the vanguards of black culture. And they don't like what these guys are saying. And then we've seen what has happened. It has turned into a fucking embarrassment. Then you got people saying, I'm the king of this corner of YouTube and so forth. I'm like, that's like somebody walking on top of a trash pile and saying, hey, I'm the king of this trash pile. Who cares? Have fun with that. The pro-black sector has proven that they don't want to engage in any real conversations. You know what I'm saying? They don't debate at all. They just roast. Debating is completely out of the question, and all it is a bunch of testosterone-filled videos where dudes are just using a whole lot of vulgarity and incendiary language, and then they attack people's family members. I'm like, it's just completely atrocious, and that's why I have to say the Coons have won. They have won because I'm not saying that the Coons don't take swipes or don't do things to incite any sort of drama, but they do have a certain level of decorum about themselves. You know, I just don't see them attacking family members or dead relatives and things of that nature. Because remember, this corner of YouTube, I'm like, these guys didn't make a name for themselves because of because they actually had talent. No, they went after the likes of David Carl, Painless Risen, Tommy Sotomayor, Queasy, or whatever. And then you see how it all falls apart. You know, matter of fact, if you actually you know what I'm saying, really just pay attention to their words and their, you know what I'm saying, if they're not making a video expressing their own ideas, they dang near agree wholeheartedly with the Coons, especially when it comes to black women. I'm like, you got dudes in this corner of YouTube that brag that they'll beat a woman's ass, but they won't brag about beating on a cop's ass or a white supremacist ass and so forth. You know, and that's the thing. But I understand that a lot of black people, they have short. That's the thing, that a lot of pro-blacks consider videos by pro-blacks to be pretty freaking boring, a snooze fest. That's why some of the smartest guys don't get view counts. I'm not talking about, this video ain't about my own mental capacity, but smart dudes like your Furic Impact and Garage Autonomist, dudes that are smarter than me, and you look at because their channels aren't just laced with drama and a bunch of cuss words and people making idle threats towards videos, because that's what pretty much the pro-black corner of YouTube has reduced itself to. You know what I'm saying? It's overran by there's more trolls than the trolls on this corner of YouTube than the goddamn Lords of the Rings trilogy. You know, and the so-called bootlickers and the Coons or whatever, they create the type of dialogue people are interested in listening in. You know, I'm like that. I'm like, you just gotta. I'm like, that's what they do. That's what, you know, they're good at. That's what people want to talk about. I'm like, people are pretty sick of the stupidity of black people, or black people doing things and not want to feel the ramifications of it. You know, and that's the thing. Now I understand there's a difference between cooning and constructive criticism, which I'm gonna have another video that I'm gonna publish. I think I'm gonna publish it by tomorrow or Sunday, where I go into these days. It's gonna be one of my long boys, my long, you know what I'm saying, 30-minute videos where I'm gonna just dissect it and show you the difference. Now, the black community does need a certain level of critique, and the so-called bootlickers go too far, and also they have their own agenda. You know, see, me, I'm trying to go into middle ground, into Middle Earth. You know, where, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to look at everybody's arguments with a clear mind. You know, and as I said before, a tranquil mind is the first requisite for good judgment. You know, and both of these guys take shit overboard. Both of them, both factions, both parties, you know, gravitate towards information that supports their narrative and reject information that runs contrary. You know, so therefore everybody wants something to help their point of view, and then, you know what I'm saying, they get an audience and so forth. But when it comes to subscribers, when it comes to views, you know, the so-called Coons, you know, I'm like, they've won. I'm talking about the ones on the basic level of YouTube. I'm not talking about the people that are kind of neutral and so forth. But I'm talking about as far as the guys that tried to go against the Fantastic Four, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and so forth, and other people of their same ilk that, you know, and so forth. I'm talking about the pro-blacks that constantly use the word coon over and over again. You know, ultimately, yeah, you know, and then looking at the sorry state that the pro-blacks are disingenuous, they're not honest with themselves, they honestly consider a lot of the Afrocentric point of view or whatever to be pretty boring. That's why they watch the Coons video, so therefore, you know what I'm saying, they can make a counter argument, or they can roast them and they can get views and subscribers and so forth. You know, it's a minstrel show. So this does not mean that I'm going over to the Coon side.